everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellen, and in today's video I am doing a tag video. I was tagged by Nahla from the channel Here There Be Stories to do these are a few of my favorite things tag. I have my notebook right here with all the questions because I need to prepare myself. But first of all, Nahla, thank you so much for tagging me. I'm really excited to do this one, and I think it would be really fun to just get to know everyone in the bookish community and just learn more about us as people beyond our love of reading. Before I get started, I just wanted to let you know that I copied all the questions that Nahla had on her channel, and I'm just going to be answering the exact same ones that she had. So I know she mentioned in her video, which I will link down below, that she kind of tweaked some of the questions here or there. So I don't know if it's a little bit different from what other booktubers have done, but I just wanted to do the exact same one that she did since she tagged me. So, okay, question one is, what music do you appreciate? So here's the thing. I kind of gravitate towards lots of different kinds of music. The main priority that I look for when it comes to music is it fun? Does it make me want to dance? Because I do like to dance. I am not a professional dancer by any means. Like, don't get misunderstood on that. But I do just like to dance for fun, you know, just be silly. My daughter and I will have dance parties, and when my husband is home, sometimes he'll join on our dance parties. So we just like to play music that just has a good beat, you know, we like to dance around. So I like music that just makes me feel happy. It just makes me want to move my body. It just uplifts my mood. So I like a lot of like Latin music. I think that's really fun. I love like some hip hop, or I also like some rap songs. Pop songs, you know, and I don't have a particular artist or anything. I don't really have like a favorite anybody. The only group or band, whatever you want to call them, that I really, really love is BTS. And that is a new love. I used to avoid all K-pop groups because I used to think they were overrated. And I was very, very wrong about it. I just had this preconceived idea that they weren't really that talented, that someone else just did all their music. They don't really know how to do their own thing. They're just kind of there for show. I just thought they were a bunch of good-looking people. But I was just so wrong about it, and I'm embarrassed to say that I used to think like that. But my nieces got me into BTS. They really love BTS. And they were shocked when they heard that I know of BTS, but I didn't listen to any of their music. So ever since they showed me their music, I was like, this is so catchy. And I like how, even though most of their lyrics are in Korean, because they are a K-pop group, they're from South Korea, I like how when you look at their lyrics, they're actually really deep, they're meaningful, they cover a wide variety of topics. And I really appreciate their talent. Their dances are amazing. Their choreography is on point. They're always like synchronized. And most of the time they write their own music and produce their own music, I think. At least write their own music. I know that. So I just think they're amazing. And I know like right now they're on a hiatus because of their military duty. In terms of like their solo music, since they are kind of branching out and doing their solo stuff right now, I really love Suga, or August D. That's kind of like his rapper persona. I really like his solo music the best because he does a lot of rap mostly. So Suga is my favorite, in case anyone was ever curious. Suga is my favorite, and it was actually Suga/August D's concert that I went to recently, which was super, super fun. He was the first member to do a solo concert. So anyway, enough fangirling. Love BTS. That's like the only specific group that I really, really love. Otherwise, just music that makes me dance, and that makes me happy. Question two is a few of my favorite films. So I don't watch a ton of movies, but when I do, sometimes it's TV shows, sometimes it's movies. So I don't have a ton, but my answers are kind of basic. So I know it's asking about films, but I just have to say Pride and Prejudice is like my ultimate favorite book. And so Pride and Prejudice, the TV show with Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy, I love that TV show. It's like 6 episodes. I think currently it's on Hulu, or it was on Hulu. They did a fantastic job with all the details. I also love the movie Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadyen. And even though I love the movie, and it has a special place in my heart because that was the first kind of adaptation on screen of Pride and Prejudice that I ever watched. So I'm biased towards loving that. But because it's a movie, they had to condense it and omit several things. So sometimes if you didn't read the book, some things might not make so much sense, you know, but the TV show with Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy, they did a really good job of all the details from the book by Jane Austen and adapting it to the screen. So I love Pride and Prejudice so much. It's my ultimate favorite story, my ultimate romance story. I just love how Jane Austen wrote it. I love the characters. So I have to say that. And recently, I've really been loving the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. My husband and I are starting to watch all of them. I believe there's 5 of them, and we just watched the 3rd one. We watched like the first 2 or 3 when we were younger, and I didn't realize that we were like 10 or something when they came out. So I remember watching it when they kind of came out with my family, or like I remember watching it at home. But like, so we rented it on DVD or something, but I just didn't really get it. I didn't get the humor. I didn't get the story, you know. I was like, oh, pirates, that's cool, you know. But now me and my husband are having so much fun watching these. So when our daughter goes to bed and we have time in the evenings, we'll be watching these movies. So now we'll be on to the 4th one, which is On Stranger Tides, I believe, with Penelope Cruz. So those have been really fun, really enjoying those, but I don't have a ton of favorite movies. I just have a lot of movies that I just enjoy, but I don't really have a favorite other than Pride and Prejudice. So question 3 is hobbies and interests. So obviously besides reading, I really like going on walks with my family. My daughter loves the playground, and where we moved to in California, where we live, there's so many parks within walking distance, and we can walk along a canal, and it's just really beautiful. And so my husband and I enjoy taking our daughter out in the stroller. We just enjoy taking her to the playground, going for walks around the neighborhood. That's just been really peaceful and like a nice way for us to bond as a family. I just love spending those moments with them when we're outside. I also love to write. That's something I haven't been doing a lot of recently, but that is something I'm planning to get more into after my daughter starts preschool in the fall. I'll actually start to have some more time to myself during the day and have energy to write and read more. So I'm excited about that. I always wanted to write my own book someday. So that's something I want to work on. And I don't know, I've never heard of anyone really talking about this, but another thing that I really love to do, besides just reading books, is I really like simulation games. So there are some apps that they're called simulation games. You are reading, but they have like the graphics. So as you're reading, you can kind of create your own character, and there's a general storyline, but you can pick how you want your main character to look. Sometimes you can choose what their name is, and there's a general story that someone is writing, and there's various love interests that you can kind of choose from, and based on your choices, it affects the plot. So some of my apps that I really like for that, like my ultimate favorite one is called Romance Club. They have, yeah, there's romance in it. I mean, it's in the title, but it's more than just romance. There's fantasy stories, there's some paranormal, there's like some regular like slice of life stories in there. They have all kinds of stories in there, and every month and a half or so they update a few chapters in a book. So it's been really fun. I enjoy reading those as well. I'm just so tired at the end of the day where picking up a physical book is just a little bit too much for my brain to handle at the moment. I will just open my phone, I'll open Romance Club, or there's another one called Couple Up, which is fun, which is like a reality TV show kind of one. So you're like a contestant on a dating show, and you can kind of pick which love interest you want to go for. Another one, if anyone likes to watch Love Island, there is a game, Love Island the game, that you can play. So anyway, to me, it still counts as reading, and I kind of want to make a video about it that I still think it counts as reading, because I am reading. I'm reading a story, there's different characters and things like that. So yeah, that's another hobby of mine. It's like a different form of reading. So I like doing that. And I also like to play card games. My husband and I like to play card games together, whether that's with a regular deck of cards, or we recently have been getting into the Japanese cards called Hanafuda, which used to be associated with like gambling and stuff, but that is not how we play it. I'm going to try to put like an image on the screen here of what Hanafuda looks like, but they're like these really small playing cards. They have images on it. There's no numbers or anything, but each card set comes in a set of 4. So each drawing, there's like 4 drawings and they go together, and you have to match the cards, and each cards are worth a certain number of points. If I can, I'll put a link in the description box down below that explains Hanafuda. I even bought these on Amazon, and they were pretty cheap. They're not the best quality, but they're really fun. So if anyone's interested in learning like a Japanese card game, like with these deck of cards, you can learn different ways of playing, and it's been really fun. So that's another hobby. Okay, I took too long on that answer. I'll try to speed through it a little bit. So question 4 is, what instrument do you play or want to learn? So I learned piano when I was growing up, and well, wait, there's a question that is like a fun fact, so I'll save that for later. But yeah, I play piano. I'm not the best. I was really good at the time, but I quit kind of young because it wasn't exactly my favorite, although I do like to play it a little bit more now as an adult. But the instrument I really wish I learned how to play, and the one I still really want to learn, is the violin. So once we kind of have like more money and stuff like that set aside for hobbies, I really want to start taking violin lessons, because I just love the sound of the violin. I think it's so beautiful. Of course, I love piano as well, but I really love the violin. Oh, Lindsay Sterling. I like Lindsay Sterling. So for question 1, she is an amazing violinist, and I like her songs too. Question 5 is my favorite season. I love fall, and summer is a close second because I like being able to go outside and go on more hikes, you know, go swimming and stuff like that. But I just love fall because my birthday is in October, and Halloween is my favorite holiday. And now my daughter is really getting into Halloween, and even though it's almost June, she's like, it's not Halloween yet. I want it to be Halloween. So she's really getting into it. So fall is most definitely my favorite, and I'm really excited. She's 3, so she's finally getting to the age where she's really into holidays now. So I can't wait. We're planning to do a proper like dress up for Halloween this year. So fall. 6 is favorite authors. And this is kind of similar to like favorite music or favorite movie. It's really hard. Like, I enjoy so many different stuff, but I can't really say this is my favorite, you know, like my ultimate favorite. I mean, of course I should say Jane Austen, because Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book, but it feels kind of wrong to say she's my favorite author when I've only read 2 books by her. I've read Pride and Prejudice and I've read Persuasion, and I do really like, well, I love Pride and Prejudice, and I really, really enjoy Persuasion. I do have a few of her other books on my shelf. I have Emma, and I have Sense and Sensibility and Mansfield Park. So I still want to read those. But yeah, I guess Jane Austen, even though I've only read 2 of her books. In terms of books that I've really loved lately, honestly, like the book series that I've really, really been loving, and I think the trilogy concludes this year. I think the 3rd and final book comes out in August, and that is, the author is M.A. Carrick. They wrote Mask of Mirrors and The Liar's Knot. That's there. I don't know where I'm pointing. Yeah. Mask of Mirrors and The Liar's Knot are books 1 and 2 by M.A. Carrick, and they're a writing duo. So that is like their pen name. I loved those books. Oh my gosh. Like, was it confusing to get into at first? Absolutely. But once you get into it and you really let your mind just absorb the world, like, it is just so much fun. Like, you're following Ren, who is a con artist, and she is trying to pretend to be a member of this house Trementis, who is starting to fall, and she's trying to pretend that she's like this long lost kind of relative so she can kind of join in on the family wealth, but then she kind of later finds out they're not actually doing so great. It's more complicated than that, but if you're looking for like a, what is it, like a Roman or Venetian inspired fantasy story, check out Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. You won't regret it, and the trilogy will be coming to an end, I believe, in August. So the 3rd and final book is coming out soon. So if you want a series that you can binge pretty soon, I would recommend that one. So that is my answer. 7 is favorite time of day. I would say evening, because that's when I tend to be the most productive. And that is when I do get more time to myself. Don't get me wrong. I love, love, love my family. I love spending time with them. I think like early mornings, like mornings, and then evenings are like my 2 favorite times of the day, because I like starting the day with my family and just figuring out what kind of day we're going to have. And then I like the evenings where I can kind of wind down. I am more of a night owl, so I love like just saying goodnight to my daughter, you know, going over what we went or what we did that day and having her go to sleep. And then I get a few hours to myself. And that's when I get some of my chores done. And that's where I just feel the most productive, because I do tend to be a night owl. So that's my answer for that one. So question 8 is favorite musicals. I don't really watch musicals. That's not really my thing, to be honest. But the only one that I've watched and that I really liked was Les Miserables, or just Les Mis. I really like the movie Les Mis. I've never seen the play or anything like that. Please don't come at me. It's just not something I gravitate towards, but I did really like Les Mis. I like the movie with Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman and stuff like that. So I really love that movie. I thought it was great. So that's really the only answer I have, but I did really enjoy it. Okay, so question 9 is, what are some fun facts about you? So this goes back to the question about what instruments I played or want to play. So I played the piano, and the thing is, I cannot read sheet music. I can't read sheet music. Like, if I want to learn a new song, I have to spend the time to go through all the notes and write like A, G, B, this, that. Like, I have to go through every single one. Like, of course I know the notes on the piano, but reading it, I can't like read the sheet music and play as I'm reading it. Like, I just can't, and it boggles my mind that people can do that. But what I can do is I memorize songs. Once I get it down, I remember it. I still remember how to play songs that I learned when I was 8, 9, and I'm 30 years old now. So I remember how it's supposed to sound. And even if I kind of forget some stuff, I can play around with it and I remember how it sounds, and then I can play it. So I am like learning by listening, not so much by reading the sheet music. But man, does it make it so hard to learn new music, and it's so frustrating. So yeah, I'm gonna have kind of a hard time learning the violin, because I will have to learn how to play and how the strings work, because I've never played a string instrument before. But anyway, that's one fun fact about me. So question 10 is some favorite tropes. So these are the tropes that I like if they are done well. So I don't love these tropes just for the sake of the trope. It actually has to be done well for me to like it. But the tropes that I tend to love when it is done really well is I love enemies to friends or enemies to lovers, either one. So you can start out as enemies not seeing eye to eye, but then later on they become like your best friend, or they become like your love interest, your lover. I like those stories. I also love found family. I just love when a bunch of like misfits or a bunch of people that just don't seem like they would belong in the same group, but then they become so close, like their own family. I absolutely love that. And the last trope that I tend to really love is the grumpy sunshine trope. I like when there's a happy-go-lucky, sometimes they tend to be naive. I don't really love when they're super naive, but I do like the sunshine type of person. And then usually the romantic counterpart to that is like the grumpy one. And I love how they can start, like the sunshine one starts pulling the grumpy one out of their little grumpy shell, and they start to like warm up and start seeing the world in a new light. So I really love those tropes when they're done really well. Question 11 is if you live in a fantasy world, what would be your superpower? So maybe my answer is a bit boring or generic, but maybe this is more sci-fi, maybe not even fantasy. I don't know, but I'm going to say it anyway. I would love if I could teleport. So not even flying. I just want to teleport, like boom, I can go from here to there. And imagine if you can have that ability in real life. I wouldn't have to fly on a plane. I could just boom, be in Italy, spend a few hours there, and then boom, teleport back home. I think that would be really fun. But I think teleporting would be really cool. Another thing I think would be really cool is I feel like in a lot of fantasy stories, there tends to be like a person who's really good with like healing magic, or they know how to brew potions that can cure any kind of illness, or they have an affinity for helping cure diseases. I think it would be really cool to have that ability, like kind of like a witch, you know? I can just have my little cauldron, I'll just brew potions, or I can make poultices, or, you know, just making it so I can help people who are injured or sick or dying. Like, I just really think it would be cool if I had like those magical healing abilities. I think that would be really cool. I would love to have those kind of powers. The last question, question 12, is do you have shelf control? And the answer is yes, because if you haven't noticed, I have an empty shelf right there, and I have some empty spaces right here. I have some space on my shelves. I do have some books that are in like a big container in like our storage closet, but those are ones that I don't really need to have out. Those are like the collections of my Nancy Drew stories that I want to pass down to my daughter when she's at the age where she can start reading them. So I don't really need to have them on my shelves, but I do have a lot of shelf control, but that's also because these are brand new bookshelves and we are finally settled into like our semi-permanent place. We do want to buy a house at some point, but like for the foreseeable future, this is where we're staying. We're not gonna be moving. So I can actually start buying more books when the opportunity comes along and I can start adding to them. So as for now, I do have shelf control. We shall see in a year or two if I still do. And my husband will probably be like, oh my gosh, do we need another bookshelf? So yeah, anyway, that is the end of the tag. Thank you again, Nahla, for tagging me. And now it is time for me to tag you. And I'm tagging you. If you're watching this video and you have not done this tag yet, I am tagging you. Yes, you. I'm tagging you to do it. I'm not going to name any specific names because I feel like anyone that I would tag, they've already done it. So I want to tag you. If you haven't done it, please do this tag. And please let me know when you do the tag, because I would love to watch your video and I want to hear your answers. So please do that. Please do this tag if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments on my video, or somehow. I'm not good with technology, I guess, but just let me know so I can watch your version of this tag. So anyway, that is all that I got for you guys today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.